When people think of billionaires, they often imagine endless luxury, private jets, giant mansions, and money that could never possibly run out. But one question always fascinates the public. What happens to all that wealth after they die? And today, we're talking about one of the richest and most influential people in modern history, Bill Gates. For decades, Bill Gates has been known as the co-founder of Microsoft and one of the pioneers of the computer revolution. At one point, he was the richest man on earth. But surprisingly, Gates has repeatedly said that his children will inherit only a tiny fraction of his fortune. So where will the rest of the money go? The answer is charity. Bill Gates and his former wife created the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, one of the largest charitable organizations in the world. The foundation focuses on global health, fighting poverty, improving education, and funding scientific research. Over the years, billions of dollars have been donated to causes like vaccines, disease prevention, and humanitarian aid. The story of Gunther IV is one of the strangest millionaire stories in the world. According to the famous legend, a wealthy German countess named Carlotta Liebenstein left her entire fortune to her beloved dog, Gunther III, after she died in the early 1990s. Since the dog obviously could not manage the money itself, a group of caretakers and financial managers controlled the fortune. Over time, the inheritance was passed down to another dog named Gunther IV. The story became famous because Gunther IV was said to own luxury mansions, expensive cars, yachts, and even a private staff. However, years later, journalists and documentary filmmakers discovered that much of the story may not have been completely true. Some investigations suggested the mysterious countess may never have existed at all. Instead, the richest dog in the world story appears to have been partly created as a publicity stunt connected to wealthy Italian businessmen. Even today, Gunther IV remains an internet legend and one of the most unusual inheritance stories ever told. Elon Musk's legacy vision. Unlike traditional philanthropists, Elon Musk has openly stated his intention to dedicate his vast wealth to humanity's multiplanetary future. Through SpaceX, he envisions establishing a self-sustaining colony on Mars, ensuring human civilization survives potential extinction on Earth. Musk believes his fortune should fuel interplanetary colonization, rocket innovation, and sustainable energy research, rather than conventional charity. His company Neuralink further reflects his commitment to advancing human technology integration. Musk has repeatedly emphasized that dying on Mars, just not on impact, is his ultimate goal. For him, the greatest gift to humanity is making life multiplanetary and technologically unstoppable, even beyond his lifetime. The Peculiar Will of MacArthur. The tale of the American millionaire MacArthur is one of the most amusing, albeit likely fictional, stories of eccentric wealth distribution. Passing away in the year 1922, MacArthur had amassed a remarkable fortune. At the time of his death, his net worth stood at an impressive $3 million, which is equivalent to approximately $150 million in today's economy. Typically, one would expect such a vast estate to be inherited by the deceased's immediate family. However, MacArthur had entirely different and rather shocking plans for his wealth. In his last will and testament, he made the deliberate and astonishing decision to leave his wife and children a mere $5 each. Instead of keeping the money within his family tree, MacArthur chose to leave the absolute entirety of his remaining fortune to a complete stranger he had casually met on the street. His only recorded reasoning for this drastic financial decision was simply that he liked the stranger's personality. So try to improve your personality. Maybe someone will like it and give you $3 million. James Bedford was an American psychology professor who became famous for being the first person in history to undergo cryonic preservation. Born in 1893, Bedford had a strong interest in science and the possibility that future technology could one day defeat death itself. In the 1960s, scientists and futurists began discussing cryonics, a process where a human body is frozen after death, in hopes that advanced medicine in the future could revive and cure the person. Bedford became fascinated by this idea. After being diagnosed with terminal kidney cancer that had spread to his lungs, he decided to take part in the experimental procedure. On January 12, 1967, Shortly after his death, Bedford's body was preserved using liquid nitrogen at extremely low temperatures. The process was carried out by members of the early cryonics movement. His goal was simple but extraordinary. He hoped that one day future scientists would develop technology capable of bringing him back to life and curing his disease. More than 50 years later, James Bedford's body remains frozen in cryonic storage. He has never been revived, and scientists still do not know if such a thing will ever be possible. Mark Zuckerberg's charitable pledge. In 2015, Mark Zuckerberg and his wife Priscilla Chan announced the Chan-Zuckerberg Initiative, pledging to donate 99% of their Facebook shares over their lifetimes to charitable causes. The pledge, made shortly after the birth of their first daughter, was valued at approximately $45 billion at the time. Rather than a traditional will, the commitment focuses on advancing human potential and promoting equality across areas such as education, healthcare, and scientific research. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.